Hello, third and fourth graders. I'm really happy to come to you to your homes through the video. And today we're going to continue working on our animal project. Now we're starting to pile all these different things up so that we can learn how to research. And that was one of the questions that we were talking about last week. We were talking about why we research. And on the activity, I had two slides. One said, we research because Miss Arias just is wanting to make life difficult, yes or no? And the answer was no. And the other answer was, Miss Arias wants me to learn how to find information. And that was the correct answer. All of you got it right, so thumbs up to you. Now, the next thing that we're going to be looking at is a food chain, because we're starting to get closer to our final project. And you're going to be able to need to know the food chain, because you will be incorporating that into your diorama as we get closer to our end project. Every single aspect that we've researched so far will go into it. So today what we're going to be looking at is, the book is What Eats What in the Desert Food Chain by Susan Slade. I'm choosing a different environment to make a point. I hope that you can figure out what the point is in just a few minutes. I know you will, actually. Then I want us to think, what do I know of where my animal lives? What do I know of where my animal lives? Can you please stop and think about what you know about where your animal lives? So if it's a lion, you would say it lives in the savannah. If you have a reindeer, which one of you did, you would say that your animal lives in the tundra. And in my case, my animal is a frog and it lives in the Amazon rainforest. Of course, there's other environments for the frogs, but I chose a rainforest. So, what do I know of this place? So in the case of the Amazon, I know that the Amazon rainforest is very wet. It's many different types of plants and animals and trees, right? And there's lots of water and it's very hot in it, so I know that. So does that environment actually affect the food chain? Is that going to depend, the environment going to make the food chain be the same or different from environment to environment? So can you please jot that down on a piece of paper? What is your answer? I'm thinking that you're saying yes. Now, why would you be saying yes? Can you think about that for a second? Are all environments the same? Do all of the environments have the same animals? The answer is no, right? So can you tell me how that would affect your animal? Okay, I hope that you're writing it down. So what I'm thinking that you are saying or have written down is this. Each environment has a unique plants and animals. And based on those plants and animals, that environment is going to change. And if that environment changes, the food chain is going to change. Is that what you said? Give me a thumbs up if you had it right. Yep, tons of thumbs up. Good job. So now, we're going to start focusing on the food chain. And for that, I'm going to read to you this book. Please focus on the big ideas of the book. So the big idea for us is, what is a food chain? And how does the habitat change the food chain? Okay, so here we go. What eats what in the desert food chain? From a prickly cactus to a quick coyote, all living things are part of a food chain. Each plant or animal in a food chain is connected because each one eats the other one before it. So we know that it makes a circle. And that circle actually is going to be integrated by many different animals, right? Depending on the environment. So let's see what it starts with. The bright sunny desert is full of plants and animals. Most food chains rely on sunlight, and in the desert there's plenty of it. So what does a food chain start with? Plants. So it starts with plants, right? It will start with some kind of plant, right? Now, an ocotillo plant stretches its long arms towards the sun. Bright red flowers bloom and a warm wind scatters the seeds. So the plant has, what does it have? Seeds, right? The plant has seeds. So I'm going to create some seeds here. Can you see the seeds? I had to peek and remember how to spell seeds. Can you believe that? Then, soon the ocotillo loses all of its seeds and flowers, and a kangaroo rat nibbles on the crunchy seeds on the ground. So we will have seeds that will then, and the plant will be eaten by some type of animal. Now, I'm not going to put that there just yet, because we're going to do it with the frog or with whatever animal that you are doing. So I'm going to leave it blank. But what would come next here? So the seeds will go to the, I want you to start filling it in for your plant as you look at it. The kangaroo rat stops to rest, and a young rattlesnake waits and watches. The snake attacks. Ugh, I don't want to be that snake. Or the rat. The snake curls up in the sunlight. It isn't safe for so long. A hungry roadrunner sips by and snatches its next meal. So, what goes here and what goes here? Let's continue. What is going to go here? The snake curls up in the sunlight and it isn't safe for long. A hungry roadrunner sips and snatches its next meal. What do you think that next meal is going to be? Smaller animal or bigger animal? Do you write it down? It's going to be a, you were right, it was a larger animal. That's what I knew you had written down. Darkness settles upon the desert, but all is not still. The coyote's glowing eyes spot prey, and it pounces. Can you see it pounce? So now, we know that the coyote is pretty big. The coyote is a strong hunter, but even it can become another animal's meal. One wrong step can bring a deadly snake bite. A crest caracara quickly finds the dead coyote, and it will start eating it, right? Not much is left of the coyote. The decomposers do their part. Beetles, bacteria, and fungi break down the rest. So, and here, this will take us back to all the little beetles. How should I draw a beetle? Well, there's the beetle. Do you see my beetle? Can you see the beetle there? So my beetle. And it goes back into the earth and becomes part of the plants. So I'm leaving this blank here because you're going to fill in these blanks when you do your Google Classroom or draw a picture of it. You're going to have to go back and look at your animals. And I'm not going to draw it here, but I want you to look at what I'm doing. I'm going to go back to one of the books that I read, the frog one, and I'm going to look and see that the tadpole will begin eating algae, right? Who comes and eats that algae? Well, the tadpole. But who eats the tadpole? Who's that? The fish. Who do you think will come and eat that fish later on? A bird maybe? Yeah, a bird maybe. You've got it. So we have different ideas. The life cycle could go, the food chain could also go in a different way. The frog eats the insect. Who eats the frog? The snake. You've got it. So there's different food chains. I want you to create one for yourself, but now let's go back to our original question. Are all food chains the same? So your answer is no. Got it. You did a good job. They're not all the same, but what makes them the same? Can you write that down on a piece of paper? Pause the video for a second and write it down. Welcome back. So now, what I think that you said this makes them the same is that they all start with plants, right? They start with plants. right? Is there something else that can make it the same? Let me get another color for this. What makes it the same also? Ah, I see what you're saying. You might say that they start from a small animal and goes to a larger animal. Okay. Ah, not much space. Now, what makes them different? What makes them different? That's the question. What makes them different? How are they different? That is what you're going to answer on the Google Classroom today. I want you to go look at your animals and that you're researching, and you're going to come and tell me what makes them different. Because as we could see, the environment of the desert and the rainforest are definitely different. What makes your tundra or your African savanna or your prairie animal different from the rest? What makes that food chain different? That's what we're going to be asking you to look at on the Google slide that we will be having next week on our Google Classroom. I enjoyed seeing you, and I look forward to seeing you again the following week. Talk to you guys then. Bye-bye.